Marriage won't benefit women unless you marry the right men. As for men, they can marry any women and still get benefit from the marriage.
Women are looking for a partnership. Men are looking for a caretaker.
To be real honest with you, men benefit greater from marriage than women.
I love this human and the original video. Go watch it. They're talking about a concept that I discuss a lot on here. The fact that research shows marriage benefits men much more than women, and the happiest demographic is single, unmarried women. That's because when men get married, they take on less labor, and when women get married, they take on more. And they say something in their video that just perfectly illustrates this. In general, when we're talking about cis-het relationships, women are looking for a partnership. Men are looking for a caretaker. Before 1970-ish, women had to get married because they couldn't have a bank account, credit cards, buy a house. But now we can do everything by ourselves. But men's responses remain something along the lines of, we provide, or women want our money. Which leads me to something I've discussed here before. A lot of today's men have male gender role strain because they ignore both the data and the voices of women who they don't believe are actual experts on women, and live in this delusional 1950s world where they believe that's what today's women still want. And that's all they have to bring to the table is a job, which you'd have to have anyway, and I have too. Which is why women take on more labor when they marry cishet men, because they still expect you to live in that 1950s world with them, where all they do is provide and you do everything else. And as the original creator says, that's why you see so many men on this app saying things like, why don't women want to cook and clean for us anymore? Why don't women want to rub our back? Now, I'm not saying that hetero marriage is a scam for women. I'm just giving you the data. You can come to your own conclusions.
I believe there are many reasons why cishet marriages are on the decline, and I'm not going to talk about all of them. But one thing I do think that has become very present to most women and men is that marriage is a safety net for men. And it creates essentially a village around him to prop him up. And for women, it is a risk. Marriage comes with risk. And the reason I say that, and it's not always the case, there's obviously nuance, but when you get married to a man and tie up your finances with him and have children with him, you take on a level of risk. Because typically, women are the ones who leave the workforce to care for children. Women are the ones whose careers take a back seat to their male counterparts. Women are the ones who are left without financial security when they stay at home with their children. Women incur a risk. They also incur a risk to their mental health, their emotional health, right? When you marry a male partner and he expects you to prop him up and to support him, to carry the mental load, to do all the domestic labor, to prioritize his career, to bear children for him, then you are viewed as a tool to his success. And in like historical cishet relationships, it didn't flow both ways. I think there's tons of marriages where it does, and that's, mine is one of them. But it's not common for everybody to have that type of dynamic. To have a partnership that truly does flow both ways, where you both have financial security, where you both have emotional security, where you both have ample opportunity and support to achieve what it is you want to achieve. So there's tons of data around the fact that men who are married live longer and women who are married live shorter lives, and women who are single live longer lives. Women who are single tend to be happier, right? There are these statistics, and men who are single are less happy. And there's also statistics around men following a divorce or the death of a partner getting married very quickly, whereas women will stay single for longer. Because marriage, traditional marriage, was built around men and creating success and happiness for them, but it was not centered around women. And so they are less happy in traditional marriages. And so that is why I talk so much about finding equity in a relationship. That is why I advocate for women to always have some sort of social safety nets around them, because marriage does come with risk. And that might sound negative, but I believe in the institution of marriage if it works for you and your partner. I am obviously married, but I do think it comes with a risk. I have taken more hits to my career and to my mental health becoming a parent and a wife than I believe my partner has. And that's not his fault, but I think that is societal. It is, our world is built for and about and in support of men. And marriage is a part of that.
So my 8-year-old daughter just approached me to educate me on something she had just learned. She was watching a show about cats and had learned the story about the Black Plague, which was caused by fleas that were on black rats at the time. However, the Catholic Church misinformed everyone because they believed that black cats were evil. After the Catholic Church misinformed everyone, they started getting rid of black cats. Because of that, the rat population grew and the Black Plague ran rampant. So this got me thinking about misinformation in general. And somehow in my ADHD brain, I skipped right over to the topic of marriage. I just started thinking to myself how interesting that men were able to package marriage as something women want, and that men don't. Looking back through history, of course a woman was excited whenever a man wanted to marry her, since she was bound financially to whatever a man was able to bring in. Women didn't typically work, they were not encouraged to go to college, they couldn't own property or have their own credit cards or bank accounts, and so of course finding the right suitor would be something that you would celebrate, I suppose. I personally would have chosen to be a spinster, but that's neither here nor there. So fast forward to today. And I see one article after another about how disappointing the dating scene is for cis-het men. Basically, at this point, I just imagine Tinder has a shit ton of men on there just waiting for women to pop up, and they never show. Because to be real honest with you, men benefit greater from marriage than women. You heard that right. Women are seeking men for a partnership, whereas traditionally men were seeking out women as caretakers, not necessarily for partnership. And now all I see are cis-het men crying about why aren't there more women that make us lunches and rub our backs? Because men nowadays don't know how to be partners. Spare me with the not all men, we understand that, as long as you do too. I just find it so funny that now everyone is so surprised that not all women want to get married. Why would they? Women have been undervalued and underappreciated for fucking centuries. And then you've got the men over here saying, if things were just back to how they used to be. You know, the good old days. And usually they're referring to the 1950s housewife. They'll even try to tell you that women were happy and fulfilled then. In 1952, they had seen 50,000 patients, the majority female, and they had been lobotomized. And millions of women were prescribed barbiturates for anxiety and depression. So the fact that so many men want to spread misinformation regarding marriage, how there are just no more good women out there, yada yada, and their inability to self-reflect, and how easily other men that are disappointed about the dating scene soak in this information from these Tates of the world. You know, these tiny balding men with a complex. It's honestly fucking sad. We live in a patriarchal society. Y'all are literally doing this to yourselves. I mean, this is something that's easily fixable, right? With minimal effort. Guys, make some fucking effort instead of wasting time making videos whining about how you're not getting what you want.
Men absolutely benefit a lot more when it comes to marriages. Here's a few examples, right? One, you live a lot longer once you're married because you have your wife who's basically forcing you to go to the doctor. I work in medical field here and I know this for a fact, right? Men live a lot longer when they're married, and all of a sudden now they have a permanent built into the marriage someone who's going to take care of them and their offsprings, right? And also she's going to give birth to your offsprings and continue your bloodline. And also she's going to basically take care of everything, take care of the home, you know, make sure you don't just sit in your video game 24/7 and just play video game. I have this nurse that I work with, and he was basically telling me how he builds like Lego games, and he will spend all day long building the games because he has this thing where he has to finish what he's doing. And like if he starts, he has to finish, he cannot stop, right? But he tells me that he only stops because he knows his wife is coming home and she's going to nag about, not necessarily nag, but talk to him about like, you need to get off the game, blah, 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 blah. Can you imagine not eating? Because he mentioned this. He says he doesn't even eat. He doesn't take a break. He doesn't do anything other than just finish this stupid game, which he loved the game, which I love for him. But this man does not take any time to just eat. When his wife come home, though, he stops and he eats. He takes a break and all that stuff. Because can you imagine doing this for so many years? how depleting that you're going to be. Like your health is going to drastically drop. Like he literally stops and do those things because his wife is home. So it does benefit you because your wife is bringing all these extra things into your life that's going to basically benefit you when it comes to like living a healthy life. She's, like I said, bring you children, give you offsprings, you know, cook for you, clean for you, all these things that they expect a wife to do if the wife decides that's what she wants to do in the marriage. You know, all these extra things. It benefits the men a lot more than it benefits the woman. I believe as a woman, once you get married, basically you are stuck with this one person for the rest of your life, and you kind of, you're just giving and giving and giving and giving until that marriage is no longer, you know, that marriage is no longer a marriage. You're always giving more than you receive. The woman loses a lot more when she get married. The man, on the other hand, gain a whole lot more. Even with my family situation, I see the woman give a lot more in the marriage than the man does. So men do benefit a lot more than women do. So, I mean, leave your comment below. I'd love to hear what you think about this. But to me, from what I've witnessed, from what I've seen, women give up a lot more than men does. So anyways, guys, love to hear from you.
What do you think are some good things about
marriage? So I got lucky with who I got. So you meet people in your life that make you better, you know, like I learned that how to love, how to, you know, depend on other people. And I met this person that I could depend on for anything. Like right now, if you were to separate us, I'm not okay. And it's not like, forget my emotions and all that stuff. It's just, I might not make it through a week.
I feel you.
I really might not. You know, it's just like, I have someone here who's like, bro, it's my compass. Like, I know where to go because of her. That's the best thing about marriage for me. I found the one.
Got you.
Now, if you enjoy these conversations, go ahead and click anywhere in the video for the next video where we will be talking about 50-50 relationships and why this man agrees that men also benefit a lot more when it comes to 50-50 relationships. If he's asking you to pay 50% of the bills, he's benefiting a lot more. Check out the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Now, if you enjoy these conversations, go ahead and click anywhere in the video for the next video where we will be talking about 50-50 relationships and why this man agrees that men also benefit a lot more when it comes to 50-50 relationships. If he's asking you to pay 50% of the bills, he's benefiting a lot more. Check out the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.